Welcome to ABC Homestead. My name is Kelly, and on my channel, I focus on food, growing it, preparing it, and preserving it. On Fridays, I do a freeze-dry video. If you'd like to see me cooking anything, you'll see that on Tuesdays videos. And if you'd like to see anything gardening related, either growing, cultivating, harvesting, or doing some different preservation methods with food, those videos drop on Sunday. But today is a freeze-dry Friday video, and besides having a very talkative dog, what I've got going on here is I have a 25-pound bag of organic beets that I got from my last Azure Standard pickup, and I need to get those processed. They've been sitting on my counter for almost 3 weeks now. My brother loves beets. I love them too, but he is a beet fanatic and he eats them every single day. So I told him I would make him some pickled beet chips. So I need to get some beets pickled, but I don't have enough pint-sized jars to get that done. This is a real kitchen. This is a real home, and I live with 4 dogs. So one of them likes to talk. You're gonna just have to flow with it. She's playing with the ball right now by herself. So anyway, I have 9 jars of green tomato curry sauce that I canned up in 2022. I made a bunch of pints, 9 pints I have left, and I made quarts. I still have the quarts in my pantry, but I really need these pint-sized jars, and I don't want this to go to waste, and I do not want to buy more jars. I own hundreds of jars, but they're all filled with food. So what I'm going to do is freeze dry this sauce, and I will still be able to use it just as I would in here. But since this is coming up on 2 years preserved in a jar, I am at the point now where I'm running a risk on the seal staying good. So let's throw it into the freeze dryer, and then I can move on to those beets. I've got 4 medium-sized freeze dryer trays here ready to go. I'm not going to put a nonstick pad on here because these are liquid and that's just going to get underneath the nonstick pad. I've also got my handy dandy jar opener here, so I am just going to pop these lids off and start dumping contents onto my pan. Oh, that smells so good. And if I have space left over on one of these trays, I'm actually going to throw some diced avocado on a tray as well. But we'll see what we end up with. In 2022, I had a bumper crop of tomatoes and peppers. I still have peppers from 2022. I have them dehydrated, I have them freeze-dried, I have them canned, I have them powdered. And with the tomatoes, I still had so many tomatoes on the vine that were green at the end of the season. And so rather than throw those away or ripen them inside, because they don't always ripen well, I decided I would give this a try. But we haven't used a ton of it. I really do need to. I mean, this just smells incredible. And I think it's going to be beautiful freeze-dried as well. I will be able to rehydrate it just like this, or I can even powder this down and just use these flavor profiles in another dish. So I'm kind of excited about that. That is one of the really nice things about having a freeze dryer, is nothing goes to waste. These are not going to sit on my shelf until the seals on the lids fail and then I have to throw this away. I can actually now get 20 to 25 years out of this by freeze drying it. And I get to refill the jars with something else. I have 2 full bags of diced avocado. These are 2 pounds each. Each of these trays can hold about 2.5 pounds, so I will probably just do 1 bag for now. And this will just help me clear out a little bit of freezer space, as well as put some long-term storage avocado in my pantry. I want to kind of break them apart now because once they are freeze dried, they're going to be fragile and they will easily powder down. And I already have powdered avocado in storage. I have guacamole made. For this, I'm going for, keeping them as cubed avocado. So I want to make sure I take them apart now so that I don't risk powdering them down when they come out. All right, good. That looks good. There we have it, a full tray of, 2 pounds of diced avocado. I'm gonna get everything over to the freeze dryer and I'll meet you over there. Okay, freeze dryer has been running for 15 minutes, so it's gone through its cool down cycle and I can go ahead and get the food in. I just need to open the door, slide the food in. I'm gonna put the avocados on the bottom. I think they're a little bit denser than what's on the other trays, and my bottom shelf works the best. Carefully load in this green tomato curry sauce. Get the door closed. Then I just need to close the drain valve and then press continue on the machine. It's going to go through the freezing process. Then it is going to go through its sublimation phase where it draws out all the moisture, traps it against the inside of the drum in here, and then it will go to a drying cycle. I always do my trays for 9 extra hours of dry time. I think standard out of the box, this comes with 2 extra hours. I bump it up to 9. I want to make sure that everything in here is absolutely totally dry for long-term storage if that's what I choose to do with it. So I think this will be done probably in 36 to 40 hours because of, I don't know. Actually, I don't know with this one, but I'm still gonna, let's say 36 hours. So I will meet you back here then. 43 hours later, and this is done. I am surprised it took this long, but here we are. So let's get that drain valve open to release the pressure inside the drum. Let's take a look and see what we've got. Oh, it smells wonderful. Those avocado pieces look amazing. They're so light. They feel like the marshmallows in Lucky Charms, the cereal. And here we have our beautiful curry sauce. So let's get this in the kitchen and let's talk about ways we can use this. All right, for the curry sauce, I am going to be putting this straight into my Vitamix blender. I think that, even if I had used it straight out of the jar after canning it, I would blend it up into a sauce. So I'm going to do the same thing now as a powder. And I've been giving this some thought and I'm kind of excited about it because once this is powdered down, I can use this in broth as a flavor boost. I can obviously add it to curry dishes. And this is just so flaky. I can add it into stir fries. I can use it as a spice rub on meat or add it to eggs. I can also mix it in with some homemade salad dressing to have a little curry kick in there. I can probably just rehydrate this powder all on its own and use it as a dipping sauce, or maybe even add it to some yogurt along with some garden fresh cucumbers this summer and some mint. I think that would be delicious as well. So let's get this powdered up. I'm going to work through these 3 trays pretty quickly. All right, I'm going to store this powder in a mason jar here. Just going to use a canning funnel to get it in there. I'm going to have to use a brush as well. Tray number 2. All right, now before I blend this up, I'm going to put a couple pieces of avocado in this cup here, and we're going to see how long it takes for that to rehydrate. I'm just going to add some cold water. I added enough water to cover. It's not a sparse amount of water. I just covered the avocado with that. There we have a full quart of green tomato curry powder. I'm excited about this. So, and those are just the uses I mentioned. That's just what I, thought of just last night. I'm sure I'm going to come up with a lot more ways that I can utilize this. The rest I'm just going to put into a bag. And I'll just pour that right in. It gets stuck under the blades. I don't want to waste any. There we go. There's not a lot in here. I may actually do some more that I have up in the pantry to fill this bag, because I am really liking the idea of having this sauce. Let me just zipper this closed temporarily while we work on the avocados, but I'm done with the Vitamix, so I'm going to put that away really quick. All right, now for the avocado. This has been in here for about 2 minutes, so by the time we get these bagged up, maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll test it. For the curry, I am just going to write on here that this is freeze-dried or FD green tomato curry powder. And this is still April, so 4 of 24. We'll get an oxygen absorber in here and we'll get this sealed up when we're ready to do that with the avocados as well. This might be 3, maybe 4 bags. We'll see. I don't want to use my bench scraper because it's got curry on it, so I did wash and dry my hands, so I'm just going to use those. I want to do enough where if I wanted to put some on a salad, there would be plenty. If I wanted to make my zesty shrimp and avocado salad, there would be plenty. So that is about a cup. Yeah, a cup per bag is probably fine. So 3 bags should do it. All right, let's get these sealed up. So for quart-size bags, you only need a 100 cc oxygen absorber for long-term storage. So I'm going to take out 4 of those. One for the curry powder as well. We'll drop that in. We'll seal it almost all the way, and then I'm just going to compress it to get some of the air out. And whatever air is left in there will be absorbed by the oxygen absorber. And these I'm just going to label diced avocado. So FD diced avocado 4 of 24. And I'm going to label this jar green tomato curry. And I use a Sharpie on all of my glass jars, even my canning jars. These are beets that I did yesterday. I won't use a Sharpie on those because the contents of the jar are so dark that I won't be able to see this. So I will either put labels on the front of those or mark the tops. But for any jar that has a light colored substance in it, I do use a Sharpie. It stays on the jar until I wash it off with soap and water. But when I do want it off, it comes off really easily with soap and water. So this is green tomato curry powder. And I'll do a, there we go. So that one's done. Not going to put an oxygen absorber in here. This is not going to rehydrate in here. And this will last well over a year in my cabinet. All right, let me pull up the impulse sealer and we'll get these sealed up. All right, this is pretty quick. This has a zipper close, as I've shown you, and then they also have tear notches on them, so you can easily tear them open. So you want to make sure that you seal them above those tear notches. So what I do is I lay the top of the bag on the seal plate, making sure that the notches are towards me, not on the seal plate. And if you do it that way, red light's on because it's sealing, and now it's off because it's done. That way when you tear this open, you'll still have plenty of space between the tear and the zipper where you can reseal it again and possibly even heat seal it again if you don't use everything that's in there when you open it up. All right, we've got 3 bags of diced avocado that will be good in my long-term storage. That ding was this, so we know that this is now totally resealed, no oxygen in this jar. These will be good in storage for 25 years, maybe longer. And this will be good for at least a year. So I've said in other videos that this is kind of like payday for me, whereas the food that I'm going to use in the near term is like my checkbook, and the food that I am putting away for later in life, either for an emergency or when I retire, this is my savings account. And that is how I process food every week. Some for now, some for later. All right, let's take a look at these avocados. All right. Well, they feel like avocado now. They're very, slick on the outside. They're not done. But you get about a quarter of the way through and they're still a little bit crunchy. But the flavor's fine. It tastes like avocado. I'm going to give these another 5 minutes and we'll test them again. All right, I got 3 more pieces in here we can test. We're just going to keep going until we get the right time. It's been another 5 minutes. Not quite. 5 more minutes. All right, we're at the 15-minute mark. Let's see. I've only got 2 pieces here left to test. So close. I only have 1 piece left. I'm going to give it 10 minutes this time, and then we'll test this last piece. Hopefully that's enough time. All right, let's try this again. We are at the 25-minute mark, and this is my last piece to test. They're very small dices. This has now been 25 minutes. Very center. So probably another 5 minutes would have done it on these. The flavor is really good. So I would say that for diced avocado, 30 minutes to rehydrate. And there you have it. That's another wrap for Freeze Dry Friday. I did show you the jars of beets I had on the counter, so if you want to see how I did that, I can post the link up here. And otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today, and I do hope that you come back and visit again soon.